Hello, guys, and welcome to another edition of the Casual Wrestling Reviews. I'm the Casual Wrestling Fan, and today we will be reviewing the Raw after WrestleMania, April 3, 2023. So let's kick it off. So Triple H opened the show and he came out and got a big pop. He walked down to the ring, and when he got into the ring, he talked about the SoFi Stadium attendance. Again, it was around 161,000 people who attended WrestleMania. Then he proceeded to thank every superstar in the back and every performer that had ever stepped foot in the ring, all the staff, all the employees who have made this possible and who've made WWE as big as it is. And he also thanked the people behind the scenes. He also thanked the WWE Universe, ultimately saying that the WWE Universe is the reason why all of this is possible. And of course, he assures that the WWE Universe, that despite everything that happened, they're not going anywhere. Of course, he was referring to the big sale of the company to Endeavor, which merges the WWE and the UFC under one umbrella, Endeavor. Then he goes on to say the tagline, then, now, forever, and together. And after his segment, which got a good reaction, he then introduces Roman Reigns and his 946-day reign as WWE Undisputed Universal Champion. So when Roman Reigns came out, he came out to a lot of boos because he definitely has a lot of heat on him. He got the "You suck" chants. Eventually he said, "Hollywood, acknowledge me." So again, that got a lot of boos, but a lot of people still acknowledge him because, again, Roman Reigns as a heel is so over. His facial expressions are so on point. The way he moves, he no longer has those puppy dog eyes that he had when he was a babyface. So after he said, "Acknowledge me," Cody Rhodes then comes out. And at first, I think he didn't get the crowd reaction he had as before, except for when the crowd sang his "whoa" in his song, because apparently that's over. That word is so over nowadays. Even when you consider Seth Rollins' theme song, anything that has the word "whoa" is sang in a very chant-like fashion gets the crowd going. So the fact that he didn't get the crowd reaction that he had before, I think, underscores why, for me, it was a mistake for him to lose at WrestleMania 39. But of course, the Cody chants did come on later on, but I just noticed that they weren't as loud as they were before. And again, for me, I don't know about you guys. Tell me what you think in the comments down below. I think Cody Rhodes should have won the WWE Universal Championship at WrestleMania, no doubt, because the story was perfect. More on that later on. And then when Cody Rhodes comes into the ring, he usually says, "So what do you want to talk about?" Here, Cody Rhodes started saying that this time he knows what he wants to talk about. He said that he thought he would be standing in this ring as a WWE Universal Championship, and he acknowledged that Reigns was better that night at WrestleMania 39, which I don't agree with because, again, Roman Reigns used Solo Sikoa as interference to retain the championship. And he also says to Roman that Roman knows that Cody had Reigns at his limit last night, and that he was backed up against the wall and he had to resort to cheating to retain his title. And he said he knows what he wants to talk about again, and that is a rematch, and the crowd wants that rematch as well. In fact, the crowd chanted rematch before Cody Rhodes even said the word rematch. So again, Cody Rhodes is a very good talker and a very good psychological promo person. Knows how to get the crowd into it, and he did get the crowd into it. And then Paul Heyman interferes and speaks for Roman. Paul then asks Cody, "When then would you want this hypothetical rematch?" Knowing that the crowd wanted it tonight again, Paul Heyman is also a genius getting the crowd into it. And then Heyman then says, no no rematch. And then he goes on to say, not tonight, not in Puerto Rico, not anywhere. No, 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 no. Because Roman Reigns calls the shots and he gives out rematches at his own terms. So again, that got a lot of heat from the crowd. So Cody Rhodes then proceeds to say that if you don't want a rematch, then at least let's do a tag match with this guy here, Solo Sikoa, pointing at Solo Sikoa. Let's give the people something. Again, this is classic babyface moves because baby faces are supposed to be presented in the WWE at least as people who love to fight and who love a good fight, right? So again, Cody Rhodes knows what he's doing when he's on the mic. Heyman then responds and for Roman and says they accept the challenge, but on two parameters. First, Rhodes' partner has to be someone who wrestled at WrestleMania, and second parameter is that his partner should be someone who can never get the title shot against Roman Reigns while Reigns is still the champion. So of course, it seems like it was a empty acceptance of the challenge because no one in their right mind will come out to the ring and support Cody Rhodes at the fear of never having a title opportunity while Roman Reigns is still the WWE Universal Champion, right? Well, yeah, guys, you are wrong because one guy who fits this bill and fits these two parameters because this person no longer has the ability to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania is Brock Lesnar. So Brock then comes out to a huge pop, and Corey Graves, a ringside announcer, points out that the stipulation does not apply to Lesnar and it does not matter to him because said rule is already in force against Lesnar. Again, they had, I think it was a big WWE Universal Championship match. They had a 3-month long program with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, culminating in Brock Lesnar losing and never having a chance to face Roman Reigns for the WWE Universal Championship match. Okay, and then the crowd brings out the UFUck chants, So that was nice, and then that's how the segment ended. And so we have for the main event later on, Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. A huge main event for a Raw after WrestleMania. And then we had Omos versus Elias. If you don't know, Omos lost his match during WrestleMania 39 against Brock Lesnar in what was a kind of a subpar but short match. So Omos started out with kind of a weird stance. Again, I think just because he's green, he doesn't know, I think, the basics of wrestling yet. He's awkward in the ring, and it was clear here when he faced Elias. So the match started off as how you'd expect. Omos manhandled slam Elias. Then after he gave Elias multiple power slams, he gave Elias the big boot. Omos then grabs Elias by the neck and slammed him to the floor. He pinned Elias. Omos won 1, 2, 3. So again, to the match. As I said, Omos here was kind of awkward because he really doesn't seem to know what he's doing yet. I think honestly before he should have been out in the ring, he should have at least had more training before he was shown on TV. Now he's getting all kind of backlash for not being ready and being a klutz of a giant, but I hope things improve for him because at WrestleMania 39, although it was a short match, and although some of his spots looked awkward, he was able to do his slams very well there. So he didn't do as good here. So hopefully Omos continues to improve and becomes and fulfills his true potential as the giant of WWE. So after the Omos and Elias match, we had a backstage segment with the Usos where they knocked on Roman Reigns' door, but Roman Reigns again did not come out. It was actually Paul Heyman who came out, and the Usos said to Paul that they were looking for Roman because they wanted to talk to him, but Paul says that Roman actually stepped out and he was not in the room. But Paul said that even if Roman was not there, or that Roman wanted the Usos to know that Roman was proud of their effort, and that once they handled business with Cody Rhodes and Lesnar that night, they would fire up the jet and they would be out of their way. Again, difference here is that when the Usos actually left the picture, Roman was actually in the room, and this was clear when Paul said, "Hey, I took care of it, my tribal chief." So there seems to be some dissension or distrust in the bloodline, which is again a recurring theme for the bloodline, and hopefully it develops into something more, and it could mean the disintegration of the bloodline. However, as things look right now, it doesn't seem that way, considering that uh, Roman Reigns just retained his WWE Universal Championship. So we'll see where this goes, but it was a short and well acted segment for the Usos, and of course, Paul Heyman is always good when he's out there. His recent work with the Usos and this bloodline story has been great. So yeah, I hope it doesn't go anywhere anytime soon. Then after that backstage segment with the Usos, we had an interview from Bad Bunny, who was also on ringside. If you remember, Bad Bunny was also at the Spanish announce team when he was calling the match between Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio. So again, he was interviewed at ringside, and he because WWE was coming to Puerto Rico for a big event, Bad Bunny was there to promote the live event at Puerto Rico, because again, he's an established star who transcends different musical genres. So that was a good segment. He was kind of awkward when he spoke on the mic, probably a little bit of jitters here and there, but overall I think it set up something for later on. And then the next part of the show is that we had a Rey Mysterio segment. So Rey Mysterio comes out to the crowd. Of course, he got a big pop because he just recently got inducted to the WWE Hall of Fame, and the crowd was chanting 619, 619. He also got "You Deserve a Chance," and when he came out, he did a promo. First, again, he did babyface things. He thanked the WWE Universe. He thanked the Bad Bunny for his help during that night against Dominic Mysterio. And as he was getting into his promo, of course, a heel comes out. Typical WWE. You had Austin Theory come out and say that he and Mysterio both deserve respect. Mysterio for overcoming bad parenting, and Theory deserves respect because he beat the GOAT, John Cena. And then, as he said that, Theory got "You tapped out" chants, but he countered by saying that all you fans tapped out because fans did not believe in Theory. So this was a good comeback by Theory that played to the crowd, and I think Austin Theory has this gift. He knows how to turn what the crowd says against the crowd and get more heat on himself. And that's a skill that you don't see often, because some wrestlers may stick to the script and say things that are already pre-planned, right? But he knows how to ad-lib certain moments, and it's ad-libbing that's not too much, but just right. After he said that, of course, the crowd said, "You still suck. You still suck," after he beat John Cena. Then he goes on to say that, hey, he's not opposed to adding Rey Mysterio to his collection of beaten legends. So Rey Mysterio then responded by saying that the only thing he will be collecting will be his teeth after he hits Theory with a big 619. Then, of course, they had a match. Before the match, I'd like to comment on the promo again. Theory's promo here was good because he knows how to take what the crowd is saying and make it part of his promo. However, I did think that it kind of made no sense that he was the one who challenged Theory out of nowhere. Maybe they just wanted him visible for the Raw after WrestleMania and not make him fade into obscurity after a big WrestleMania. So yeah, then Mysterio and Theory had the match. And during the match, Theory dominated early on, and eventually Rey tried making his comeback, but was foiled several times by Theory. Then Rey finally makes his comeback with a spinning DDT off the catch from Theory, and then there was a nice cross-body spot by Mysterio. really beautiful. And I have to say, even at his age, Rey Mysterio still has one of the most beautiful crossbodies and flying moves of any wrestler in both WWE and AEW. He's just a legend, and I think people can really learn from him because he knows when to bring out these high flying moves, and all his high flying moves are not disjointed, right? They all make sense, and he knows when to use his high flying moves. And then eventually, Theory makes a comeback with a beautiful spinning slam. Then Theory attempts an A-Town down, but it was reversed by Mysterio. Mysterio then attempts the 619, but he's stopped in his tracks by a Theory clothesline. Mysterio then attempts another 619, but as he does, Dominic and Priest arrive from the ramp, and Dominic stops it. And this allows Theory to hold Rey's legs as he is attempting the 619, and then transitions to an 8-town down. So from the ropes, he held Mysterio up. Of course, he got him on top of his shoulders and executed the 8-town down. 1, 2, 3 Theory wins. And after it again, comments about the match. The match was okay for what it was. Both of them didn't do things out of the ordinary. Just again, felt like they were just going through the motions there. They just wanted to get to the next segment, which was Dominic, Mysterio, and Bad Bunny then face off because again, Dominic still has beef with Bad Bunny for interfering in their match and helping Rey Mysterio. So first thing that happens is that Dom tries to cheap shot Bad Bunny on ringside, but Bad Bunny blocks it and floors Dominic Mysterio. But again, Priest is there to help Dom, and he's the one who cheap shots Bunny. And Priest then clears the announce table and chokeslams Bunny through the table. So that was that segment there. And comments about that segment. Bunny here was kind of stiff in the segment, and his punches didn't really look good, although he has looked good in previous wrestling matches. However, I think he just needs a little more practice there, here and there. So I think he'll be good, judging by what we saw with Bunny's previous matches. But he did take Priest's punches like a champ, and he did fall down nicely. I think his punches, when he was the one who gave out the punches, they were not so good yet. Obviously, this is to set up some sort of tag team match between the Judgment Day and Bad Bunny, or a one-on-one match between Bad Bunny and Damian Priest, because I understand they are tight and they are friends. So that was a good segment, and I think their match will be set up for Puerto Rico because these are two recognizable Puerto Rico personalities, especially Bad Bunny. So in the next segment, we saw Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn come out with their, of course, WWE Tag Team Championships. And when they came out, they really got a big pop. And the "You Deserve a Chance" broke out. The "Ole, ole, 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 ole," and then repeat. So those chants also broke out. And then, of course, as a babyface tag team, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn issue an open challenge to the locker room that if anybody wants to fight tonight, then let's fight. Then, after issuing that challenge, guess who came out? It's the Street Profits. And of course, they challenged KO and Sami Zayn to a match. We want that smoke, all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then the match happened. So, KO and Zayn started strong, but eventually the Street Profits neutralized KO and Sami. But eventually Montez got some heat on KO. Then KO, when he was down, he made a hot tag to Sami. Sami made his heat spots. He did a crossbody on Montez Ford. Then he does a suicide dive both onto Montez and Dawkins from the ring onto ringside. Then Zayn does a sunset powerbomb from the top rope. But then Montez eventually makes a comeback and makes a hot tag to Dawkins. Then the Profits hit a blockbuster from the top rope onto Zayn, which was cool looking. And Dawkins went for the pin, but KO made the save on Sami Zayn. Zayn eventually makes his comeback, does an exploder suplex to Montez Ford onto the turnbuckle, which looked really good. Then he made a hot tag to Kevin Owens when he was down. And then, of course, Kevin Owens did his patented cannonball to Montez in the corner, then transitioning into a swanton bomb to Montez. Then Kevin Owens pinned Montez Ford, but it was stopped by Dawkins. Then Montez does his own suicide dive onto KO and Sami onto the floor, which again, a repetitive spot. So I think this spot should have been at least left out because there was already a previous suicide dive spot, and it didn't have the same effect as the previous suicide dive done by Sami Zayn. But eventually, when they got back into the ring, Kevin Owens hits Montez Ford with a stunner. Then Sami Zayn hits a Helluva kick to Montez Ford, the same Helluva kick where he pushed, similar to the Helluva kick where he pushed Jey Uso onto the turnbuckle, on the side turnbuckle, and wound up and then hit the Helluva kick. Sorry. So that was the finish. Zayn pins Tez 1, 2, 3. Now, comments for the match. Okay, for me, it was just an okay match. I think at this point they were really just going through the motions. And there were similar spots from both teams, like the suicide dive, and of course, I think the win of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens didn't get the reaction that they were expecting because, I mean, I think everybody expected them to win, right? I mean, coming off a big WrestleMania win, everybody expected them to win. So it didn't really surprise anybody in the crowd. So hence why it did not get a too big of a pop. But I think this was just kind of a match that went through the motions. Probably a very forgettable match. I think another reason is that, again, when you put up babyface teams against babyface teams, the crowd will be kind of divided as to who they will root for, right? So I think the crowd was kind of partial. Most of them were for Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, but they also really liked the Street Profits. So probably why it got mixed reactions. So what do you think, guys? Let me know again in the comment section below what you thought about the match between the Street Profits and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. So the next part of Raw, we had two segments back to back. First, we have a Seth Rollins backstage segment where Kathy Kelly asked Rollins how he felt about his win over Logan Paul at WrestleMania. Of course, he did his over-the-top fake laugh, which is getting really annoying at this point, and I think it's time for a gimmick change for Seth Rollins, definitely. Then he went to the ring, and of course, as his song is over, not really him over, but more of his song, the crowd sang to his "Whoa, whoa." So again, his song is really over. Then he went to the ring. Oddly enough, he did this about 2 minutes, milking the whoa whoa whoas from the crowd while in the ring, and he just didn't say a thing. After that, he just went backstage, and that was it. Like, what the hell was that? I mean, man, if your song is probably more important than what you have to say, I think it's time to question your gimmick, and it's time probably for a gimmick change for Seth Rollins. So, a bad segment for me, bad segment. And of course, the second segment, we had a Bobby Lashley segment, again interviewed by Kathy Kelly. It was funny because, again, it goes to show how the whoa 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 song of Seth Rollins is over, because while Bobby Lashley was being interviewed by Kathy Kelly, the whoa whoa whoas were still playing in the background. So that was really funny, and the WWE tried to phone those sounds out. Okay. Then Bronson Lee interrupts Bobby Lashley in the segment and talked about how he was the pupil of Lashley and how the pupil always surpasses Lashley. So blah blah blah. Honestly, though, when you look at Bronson Reed here, what he was wearing was kind of ridiculous, right? Because he was wearing something so bright red, and he was wearing over the top glasses, and he was speaking like he was like a megastar or something LA Knight would say, right? So honestly, I liked him better when he was an imposing, non-talking badass, not a Hollywood-looking hotshot. And it doesn't suit him, and I don't know. Bronson Lee looked very good the first weeks he was there, but now he's starting to look like a beefier, black-haired version of Otis, which is never a good look. So hopefully they correct that. I think it says something about Vince being back on creative. Hopefully not, but man, it was a bad look for him. Anyway, moving on. While after Bronson Reed left the scene, while Bobby Lashley was being continued to be interviewed, then Mustafa Ali comes out of nowhere. Of course, Lashley is pissed and he drags Ali to the ring. And at this point, nobody called for a match. Ali didn't call for a match. Bobby Lashley didn't call for a match. But for some reason, a referee suddenly appeared without prior confirmation from management about the match. This is becoming a common theme in the WWE. What? Anybody can just make a match out of nowhere? So, this was bad. Again, a bad segment, very WWE, and was not realistic at all. And as to the phony match, Lashley just floors Ali with a big clothesline, then puts the hurt lock. Ali taps out, and that was the match. A rotten segment for both Rollins and Bobby Lashley. Yeah, and as to Ali, I do have comments about him. Man, if Ali cannot take a hint, he has to take his talents elsewhere. First, he was repackaged as a guy who was an underdog who just wanted to fight everybody for no apparent reason, like a small menace character. Now he's become just a punching bag for other talent who wears a weird brown hat similar to, the hat that Jack Swagger wears at AEW, the purple hat. So if you're being compared to Jack Swagger, something's wrong with your career. So hopefully Ali takes a hint, just takes his talents elsewhere. Maybe he will be more appreciated than AEW. We don't know. So hopefully things get better for him. And guess what? After that, we got another segment involving Bianca Belair. God, for a 3-hour wrestling show, we sure had a lot of promos and segments. And honestly, it was getting a bit tiring because you want to see some wrestling, man. At least give us like a wrestling show with 50% wrestling involved. I didn't like this Raw. So far, I don't like this Raw at all. And anyway, Bianca Belair segment, she comes out whipping her hair, which is getting a bit annoying, honestly. And she starts to talk about she was thankful to her opponent Asuka and how she wants to face the best. Then, of course, comes out Rhea Ripley, says that someday both of them will face off. That was her accent there. And then, so I think they're hinting at the possible unification of the Women's Tag Team Championship, which I think is good because having 2 champions on each brand, it's too much. Less belts mean if there are less belts, it may mean more, right? Less is more in this case. So, anyway, when Rhea did come out, she didn't get, I think, the reaction that she was looking for. I don't know why, but no one cheered. Right. Then after that, after the short face-off, Rhea walks out of the ring. Then Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez's music hits, and they come out in preparation for the tag team match against Io Sky and Dakota Kai. That will determine the number 1 contender for the Women's Tag Team Championship against Lita and Becky Lynch. Now, as Rodriguez and Morgan made their way to the ring, Ripley was still on the ramp, and then they crossed paths. So Rodriguez actually looked at Rhea Ripley's championship, and I think they could be setting Rodriguez for big things, and they could be setting her for like a test championship match as a stepping stone for Rhea Ripley, which I think is a very good matchup because when you look at Raquel Rodriguez, of course she hasn't been booked the best way. Um, Individually, she has a good look to her. She's big, she's strong, she has all the potential in the world. Um, she just has to get better in the ring, but she's already there and she's better than most of the roster there. So I think a Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez match would be very believable. Of course, Rhea has to go over because it's still the start of her reign. But I think it has the potential to be a good match, and maybe later on plant some seeds so that Raquel Rodriguez can win the championship later on against Rhea Ripley when she has more experience. So I like that development there, and I like that tease right there. And as to the match between Dakota Sky and, I mean, I'm getting their names confused, Dakota Kai and Io Sky, and Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Okay, at the start, Raquel showed her power. There was a powerbomb spot by Rodriguez and Morgan to their opponents from the ring onto the ringside when Raquel Rodriguez put Liv Morgan on Raquel's shoulders, and then they power bombed Io Sky and Dakota Kai while they were on ringside. And then Io Sky then got heat on Morgan at the break. Then eventually Morgan hit the hot tag to Raquel. Raquel hit her patented I don't know what to call it, but it's like a twisting senton off the side turnbuckle, and then eventually she hit a Tejana bomb on Dakota Kai. He tagged to Liv Morgan. Then of course Liv Morgan did her version of the code breaker, which she calls Oblivion, which didn't look very good. But she got the pin. 1, 2, 3. Comments, I think they got the right winner there because I think people are just really sick of Damage Control's Io Sky and Dakota Kai. I mean, honestly, they're not believable as a tag team for me because they're so small. And maybe Io Sky is able to play that role perfectly as a high flyer, but man, Dakota Kai, she looks like she's skin and bones. I'm sorry, but she doesn't do it for me. Hopefully, they find a way to utilize Damage Control better, but I think here it was right for Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan to win. So yeah, that was it. The match was basically just meh, especially when honestly when Liv Morgan was there. I don't know how she's getting so much screen time when obviously when you look at her in-ring work, it's not the best. Maybe she has a good look, a pleasant face. She has a good smile, but other than that, she has no talent whatsoever, right? I'd rather see Sonya Deville out there who gets better heat than Liv Morgan gets as a babyface. So I don't know. I don't like Liv Morgan's work, but yeah, I do like Raquel Rodriguez. And what do you know? Another segment. So again, this time Miz comes out and he complains about of course the surprise matches during WrestleMania against Pat McAfee and Shane McMahon. And then he of course mocks Shane for blowing out his quad and he was not able to finish the match, but eventually he also blames Snoop Dogg for everything because he didn't expect to wrestle on those nights. And he said he is done with surprises. And as he said that line, bro music hits. And Matt Riddle comes out to a surprisingly good pop. Then, of course, they had another match. And then Matt Riddle hits the Bo Derek on Miz. And that was it. So, again, good on Miz for being able to take all kinds of punishment and being a company guy, but man, he's being buried alive 7 feet under it's so so bad for him right now. But I guess he doesn't need to go over anymore, considering he is popular in other circles outside the wrestling ring. So whatever. It was nice to see a Riddle back though, and I think honestly, um, I think Matt Riddle is a very talented individual who has a very unique move set and incorporates mixed martial arts very well into his um, wrestling moves. I just think he has to. Of course, I know his gimmick is the bro, always like high gimmick where he's like always on pot or something. But honestly, if he just becomes more serious, becomes more of a badass, uh, and God, just put on some boots because he's wearing those slippers, and uh, if he can just improve on certain elements like his look, his gimmick. Yeah, I think he's gonna be a player for years to come in the WWE because he has everything else. He has the wrestling moves and he has the athleticism to compete with the stars of the WWE. So that's what I thought about that. And then finally, we're on to our main event, the tag team match between Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns. So each wrestler made their respective entrances, and then um, it was weird because this was a tag team match and it was not for any championship. But for some reason, um, they did the championship introductions for a tag team match. Now I was a bit confused why they did this. So I was kind of expecting, okay, something's probably gonna happen at this point, and um, I didn't know what was going to happen, but I knew something was going to happen because this was something that was not usual, which honestly, this made it more fake. This made it really bad because, it took the surprise out of it, whatever surprise they had planned. So during the introduction, Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns are introduced, then Brock Lesnar, then Cody Rhodes, then Cody moves to the middle of the ring during the introduction and does his whoa spot. But then Lesnar suddenly F5's Rhodes during the introductions. So I kind of knew something would happen, but I didn't know this would happen. And I'm not sure how I feel about this because I think Brock Lesnar was doing very well as a babyface. Now they're gonna turn him into a heel probably and have a program with Cody Rhodes. I don't know. Anyway, after the F5. Another F5, and then he hit a German suplex. Then he drags Cody Rhodes to ringside, slams him to the barricade, hits steel stairs to the head of Cody Rhodes. Then another F5 to the announce desk. Then an F5 to Rhodes onto the steel steps while in the ring. And if that wasn't enough, Brock Lesnar came back and then hit steel chair shots onto the back of Cody Rhodes. Then again, as Brock Lesnar was about to leave, he comes back. Then he just gives the FU. He just gives the double finger to Cody while at the ramp. Like, what the hell? I don't know about this, guys. I don't know where this is going. They probably just want. My thinking is that maybe Brock is not going to be with the WWE for longer, so they want to milk his time there and have a program with Cody Rhodes as soon as possible because that will probably draw some money. But I just think Brock Lesnar is better as a babyface. He's shown he has the mic skills. Now he's gonna go back to being hopefully not a mute who just does a badass moves. I don't know about that. So I don't know. I think this will be explained in later editions of Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown. I just didn't like this match, honestly. Or I mean, not match. I just didn't like the segment. And overall, this was a very rotten Monday Night Raw. We saw very, very little wrestling and so many segments, which was very disappointing. People pay uh, pay money to see wrestling matches. And if we count the wrestling matches, we had Omos versus Elias, we had Rey Mysterio versus Austin Theory, and then we had Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens tag team match with the Street Profits. And that's it. Oh, and then we had Dakota Sky. I mean, Io Sky and Dakota Kai versus Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Those are four matches. Two of them being tag team matches, and that's four matches in a span of a 3-hour show. So think about that, guys. God, this was a rotten WWE Raw, and usually the Raw after WrestleMania is supposed to be a crazy edition of Monday Night Raw because yeah, everybody's pumped up. They want to see surprise returns. We saw one in Matt Riddle, but it wasn't really a big return. It was not someone who had the star power such as The Rock or whatnot. But I don't know. For me, there was a rotten Raw overall, and I really didn't like it. So yeah, I guess that's my review for WWE Raw, the Raw after WrestleMania. So if you like this video, guys, you can always drop a like below, and if you want to see similar content and see my future reviews of WWE Raw or WWE SmackDown, you can always subscribe to my channel. And if you have thoughts about WWE Raw this week, if you have objections or frustrations you want to share about WWE Raw, you can always drop a comment down below, and I'll get to them as soon as we can. This is the Casual Wrestling Fan. Till next time.